Have you ever felt like you're drowning in notifications, likes, comments, and messages? Like, seriously, your phone is practically an extension of your hand at this point, and it's buzzing every 2 seconds. I mean, who knew staying connected could be so exhausting? I'm talking about social media burnout. Yeah, it's a real thing and it's affecting more of us than we might think. It's that overwhelming feeling when being online 24/7 starts to feel less like fun and more like a full-time job. And not the dream job either, more like one of those jobs where you're stuck in a tiny cubicle, the coffee's always cold, and the Wi-Fi is constantly lagging. Not a good time. Hey Sublime Society, welcome back to the podcast where we dive deep into the real stuff that teens face every day. Now, I know we usually start with a lighthearted story or fun intro, but today I want to dive right into something that's been on my mind lately, a topic that's been hitting close to home. Let's be real, social media can and often is awesome. It's where we connect with friends, share our lives, and keep up with everything that's happening in the world. But when it gets to the point where scrolling through Instagram feels more like a chore than a choice, it's time to talk about what's going on. So, if you're feeling like the social media strain, you're definitely not alone. I've been there too, where it feels like if you don't respond to that DM within 2 minutes, or if you don't get a certain number of likes, your world's gonna fall apart. Spoiler alert, it won't. But that pressure, it's real and it is exhausting. I remember this weekend where I literally just couldn't put my phone down. Every time I tried, I was like, what if I missed something important? Spoiler alert, I didn't. By the end of the weekend, I was so drained that I felt like I'd run a marathon, except instead of miles, I was racking up endless hours of mindless scrolling. So, what do you do when you hit that point? How do you take a step back when it feels like your whole social life exists in this little screen? Let's break it down. First things first. Tip 1. Set boundaries for screen time. This is a biggie. You wouldn't let someone barge into your room at 3 a.m. just to talk about nothing, right? So why do we let our phones do that? Set specific times for when you're going to be on social media and stick to them. Maybe it's no screens after 10 p.m. or no checking notifications during meals. Trust me, giving yourself some time to disconnect can make a world of a difference. Tip number 2. Turn off non-essential notifications. You know what's not necessary? Getting a notification every time someone likes a meme you commented on 2 weeks ago. Turn off notifications that do not actually require your immediate attention. That way, when your phone buzzes, you'll know it's something that actually matters. Moving on to tip number 3, unfollow or mute accounts that stress you out. And I mean it. If seeing someone's perfect life is making you feel like crap about yours, hit that unfollow or mute button. Your feed should be a place that inspires and uplifts you, not one that drags you down. Tip number 4, schedule offline activities. This one's a game changer. Plan time for activities that do not involve screens. Go for a walk, read a book, try a new hobby, something that doesn't involve you checking your phone every 5 seconds. You'll be surprised how refreshing it is to take a step away from the digital world for a bit. Moving on to tip number 5, check in with yourself. Every so often, take a moment to check in with yourself. How are you feeling after an hour of scrolling? Are you energized or are you feeling drained and down? If it's the latter, that's your cue to take a break. I know it might seem impossible to step back from social media, especially when it feels like everything is happening online, but sometimes we need to give ourselves permission to disconnect in order to reconnect with what really matters. And honestly, after that weekend I mentioned, where I felt completely drained, I decided to try a mini digital detox. I turned off my phone for a whole day. Crazy, right? And you know what? The world did not end. And when I turned my phone back on, I felt better. Like I had taken a deep breath after holding it in for way too long. So if you're feeling that social media burnout creeping up, I challenge you to try it. Maybe not a whole day, but even just an hour or two of unplugged time can do wonders. And hey, if you do try it, let me know how it goes down in the comments. Alright, Sublime Society, that's it for today's episode. I hope you find these tips helpful, and more importantly, I hope you take some time for yourself. Remember, it's okay to unplug, to take a break, and to just be present in the real world. If you enjoyed this episode, do not forget to subscribe, share it with your friends, and leave a comment below about your own experiences with social media burnout. That helps enormously. Until next time, stay sublime.